Absolutely. Here's the fully modified version of the article in the form of a continuous speech-style narrative exceeding 50 paragraphs. Wrestling fans, analysts, and critics alike have been buzzing about the resurgence of MMA and the perceived stagnation in WWE. And now, former UFC heavyweight champion Josh Barnett has added fuel to the fire with a bold critique aimed directly at World Wrestling Entertainment. Speaking candidly on Thursday, Barnett took issue with WWE's current product, particularly its failure to highlight the foundational elements of combat sports, grappling and submissions. It's no secret that WWE has long been a spectacle-driven form of entertainment. The big entrances, the larger-than-life personalities, the dramatic promos. But Barnett believes that the company's relentless focus on knockouts and high spots is gradually eroding an essential piece of wrestling's core identity. Barnett's remarks come at a pivotal time in the world of combat sports. On one side, UFC continues to climb the global ladder with its intense matchups and ever-expanding international presence. On the other, WWE seems to have plateaued creatively and technically, despite its decades of dominance and expansive reach. During his interview, Barnett didn't hold back. "No, I don't think it'll kill the business," he clarified. "I think the business will be fine, but I just think that maybe in the long term there will be negative repercussions from it." What kind of repercussions? Barnett points to how audiences have been conditioned over the years to expect a certain kind of action. He recalls the early days of UFC, when grappling would actually infuriate crowds. The crowd's distaste for technical fighting, especially in the early 2000s, wasn't accidental. It was a reflection of what they had been trained to enjoy. And that training, Barnett argues, was largely shaped by WWE's presentation of pro wrestling. WWE's promotional material, he says, is dominated by visuals of knockouts and finishers. Chokeslams, claymores, spears, it's all flashy and impactful, but it comes at a cost. You show nothing of the importance of grappling, wrestling and submissions, Barnett said firmly. You only show knockouts. Your big, best of shows are always knockouts. So basically, you are priming an audience for one thing, which happens a lot less than another. His point is a powerful one. In MMA, a knockout is thrilling, but statistically rare. Grappling and submissions, meanwhile, are a consistent part of almost every single fight. So when an audience is conditioned to only appreciate the rarest moments, it creates a skewed understanding of the sport, and by extension, the art of professional wrestling. This isn't the first time criticism has been aimed at WWE's modern product. Many fans and purists have long lamented the company's departure from its technical roots. The mat wrestling of Bret Hart, the suplex artistry of Kurt Angle, the chain wrestling of Dean Malenko. These were once celebrated facets of the business, now mostly relegated to the occasional NXT match or a brief segment within a larger show. But Barnett's words carry added weight because he's seen both sides. As a legitimate fighter and a performer with experience in pro wrestling promotions like NJPW and Bloodsport, he knows the value of grappling and storytelling inside the ring. And he's not simply an armchair critic. He's lived it. There's also the broader picture to consider. UFC is making bold moves to position itself as a cultural force. With U.S. President Donald Trump announcing a UFC event on the White House lawn for America's 250th anniversary in 2026, the sport is inching closer to mainstream acceptance in ways WWE hasn't recently managed. Such a gesture is symbolic. It's not just about an event, it's about legitimacy. It's about a sport that once operated on the fringes now being embraced by the highest offices in the land. And that momentum matters. Meanwhile, WWE continues to deliver high-production spectacles. WrestleMania 41, SummerSlam at MetLife, Saudi Arabia shows. But are these events offering true growth? Or are they just maintaining a baseline? WWE still boasts the bigger global brand. Its legacy dates back to the 1980s and its stars, from Hulk Hogan to The Rock, from John Cena to Roman Reigns, have shaped generations of fandom. But a brand that big must keep evolving or risk becoming obsolete. For many insiders, it's a tale of two companies. One is pushing the envelope, evolving with its sport, and integrating real competition into every narrative. The other, according to critics like Barnett, is stuck showcasing the same old tricks, without acknowledging the deeper layers of the craft. There's also a discussion about fan education. Barnett's concern isn't just about what WWE presents, but about what it teaches its audience. When fans are only shown slams, punches, and high-flying stunts, they don't get the chance to understand the beauty of transitions, the chess game of holds and counters, or the psychology of ground control. He warns that over time, this could have consequences. Not just in terms of how fans watch wrestling, but in how they treat wrestlers. When an audience can't appreciate the nuance of technical wrestling, performers who excel in that area struggle to get the spotlight they deserve. It's a problem that also touches on talent development. Young wrestlers, seeing what gets cheered and what gets promoted, will adapt accordingly. If flashy finishers are all that's valued, that's what they'll focus on. The deeper skill sets may be ignored. In a sense, WWE's booking philosophy has trickled down into the training grounds. This could lead to a future generation of wrestlers less equipped to tell a complete story inside the ring. Barnett's criticism isn't meant to be inflammatory. It's a wake-up call. He still believes in professional wrestling. He still believes in WWE's potential. But he also believes that ignoring the fundamentals is a mistake. If WWE is to compete with UFC's cultural momentum, it must reconsider how it showcases the sport. That doesn't mean abandoning spectacle, it means balancing it. Honoring the foundations while still building forward. The conversation opens up further questions. Can WWE reclaim its technical legacy? Can it reintroduce a style that values groundwork and holds? Can it develop commentary and storytelling that educate fans rather than just entertain them? These aren't easy shifts. WWE is a global juggernaut with layers of creative bureaucracy. But as Barnett's comments echo throughout the industry, it's clear that some changes may be necessary to stay competitive in the new era. Wrestling will always have room for flamboyance, but its soul lies in the basics. And without that soul, even the brightest lights start to dim. So while UFC climbs toward new peaks, hosting events at the White House and expanding globally, WWE faces a pivotal moment. Will it adapt? Or will it stay the course and risk fading relevance in a world where audiences crave authenticity? The world